Hello, good morning. So today we will be looking at the different future tenses and we will learn how to create positive and negative statements as well as interrogative sentences. So we have different future tenses. We have simple future, future continuous, that is also called future progressive, future perfect, and future perfect continuous. And we will also look at the structure of going to, which is not a tense like itself, but as it has a, we need to look at it like apart from the other ones. First, we have simple future. So, simple future can be used to make predictions. Those are things that you're not sure they will happen, but there's a chance, like tomorrow will be a sunny day, or she will win the lottery. We can also use it to make statements, things we are sure that will happen. For example, I will go to the hospital, or I will not participate in the race. And we can also use it to give orders, like you will do whatever I say. So the structure, if you noticed, we will first use the subject plus the auxiliary will plus the verb in base form. So for example, John will marry next month. And to make negative statements, we use, of course, the subject first, then will not, or we can use the contraction will of will not, which is won't, plus the verb in its base form, plus the complements if you want to. Like Mary will not believe what happened, or Mary won't believe what happened. And to make an interrogation, we can use first will plus the subject plus the verb in its base form plus the complements. Like, will you go to school? Will you clean your room tomorrow? For example. Then we have going to. We can use going to express an intention or to make a prediction. For example, I'm going to buy a car. We are going to study for the exam. You are going to pass the exam. So in here, to make affirmative statements, we use first the subject plus the verb to be, which needs to correspond to the subject you're using, plus going to plus the verb. So I am going to buy a car. He is going to visit Ireland next year. Okay, so to make negative statements, we use the subject plus the verb to be plus not plus going to plus the verb. So it's the same to just add not between the verb to be and going to. I'm not going to buy a car. We are not going to study for the exam. And to make questions, we use first the verb to be, then the subject, then going to, then the verb. Am I going to buy a car? Are we going to study for the exam? Then we have future continuous, and we can use it to talk about future actions that will be interrupted, like I will be sleeping when she gets home. Anna will be watching a movie when you call her. Okay? We can also use it to make predictions or suppositions, like by next year she will be studying engineer, or next hour he will be winning the race. Also, to talk about future events that will have a specific duration, like I will be working with John next month, or I will not be visiting my parents for a week. And also, we can use it to talk about actions that are happening now in the present and that will continue happening in the future. Like in an hour, I will still be doing homework, or tomorrow now, and he will continue having a headache. Okay. So the structure of future continuous is first the subject, then will be, plus the verb in ing. So George will be washing his car. And for negative, which is at will not be or won't be. So Valeria will not be running for a year, or Valeria won't be running for a year. And to make questions, we first use the auxiliary will plus the subject plus be plus the verb ing. So will Leo be training for the race this month? Then we have future perfect. We can use it to talk about an action that will finish before a certain time in the future, like by 5 o'clock the airplane will have landed, or by 2 o'clock I will have finished my homework. So it is also useful to talk about an action that will be completed before another event takes place. I will have cleaned the house before my parents arrive. Leo will have learned German before he moves to Germany. And we can use it to express my sister will have arrived at school by now. So I'm not sure that my sister has already arrived, but I think she already did. Okay. You notice we use will have for the so for the structure we use the subject plus will plus have plus the verb in past participle. I will have bought the house before the year ends, or I will not have bought the house before the year ends. I will not have learned to drive when I get the car. Okay? And don't forget that you can use the contraction. I won't have learned to drive when I get the car. And to make interrogations, we add first the will plus the subject plus have and the verb in past participle. Will Paulina have arrived home already? Will I have achieved my goal by next year? And then we have future perfect continuous. As you notice, we'll use will have been plus the verb in ing. So we can use it to talk about something that finishes before another action, like he will be tired because he will have been exercising for an hour. If you notice this, he will have been exercising for an hour starts in the past and it finishes in the future. I will be late for the party because I will have been teaching an English class. And we can also use it to make an emphasis on the duration of an action up to a certain time in the future. Like by next month, I will have been learning Italian for a year. By Christmas, we will have been married for 5 years. So the structure, as I already mentioned, first is the subject plus will have been, or in the case of a negative statement, will not have been or won't have been, plus the verb I subject, he will have been, and the verb in. And to make a question, we use will plus the subject plus have been plus the verb ing. In this case, WH question, like how many years will Edgar have been teaching at the university next month? And that's everything for my presentation. You have to answer two activities. In the first one, you have to read the sentences that are in the chart and you need to identify the tense they are using. So if it is in um, present, sorry, future perfect, and you need to write it down. And for the second activity, you need to make your own sentences, and there are some questions in there that you can take into account, and you need to identify the tense you're using to create each sentence. And you need to use each each tense at least once. And you need to send it to my email that I will leave in the description of the video. And that's it. So thank you very much.